Okay, so Scott had the question here that color pick eyedropper is no longer being supported by Chrome, and he was wondering what people were doing to pick colors on a page. So let me show you a couple of different tools we can use for this. First one is Barnum PT. That's built into ClickFunnels right now. Well, you have to still upload or go to the Google Chrome store and pull up the extension in there. But once you do that, you can come in here and do a couple things. Now, the simplest one is if you're just looking for a color picker tool, we can click on that. We can move our mouse around on the screen, and you can see right there on the screen, it's showing you what the hexadecimal number is for it. But what I always find with any color picker, doesn't matter, is Barnum PT, CSS Peeper, the inspector tool, Colorzilla, the one that Scott mentioned there that's being deprecated. It's when you get into text. So we come into this text here, and you can see here, once you look at the image, it's kind of pixelated around the edges all the time. And so it's like, okay, you got to get right in the middle of the text. Well, what if the text is kind of small? So it's always kind of hard to get that figured out. You can see there the numbers move around as I move this around in the blue area. So that one is never good on any of the tools as far as I'm concerned. But if you do use it, you click on it, and then it will bring you over here. It will give you the hexadecimal number of where I just happened to accidentally click. To be honest with you, that was purely by accident that I hit it there. So another thing you can do inside of Barnum is we can come in here to the inspector tool, and we can come into any area. So let's just click on this image here, and you can see it says IMG, so you know that that's an image right there. And but it says over here we got typography of 14 pixels. Well, that doesn't make any sense. This is an image. Well, what that's referring to is the element that it's inside of. So you got to be really careful about that when you see this kind of stuff. And of course, it doesn't have a font weight or anything either because it is an image. So what it's really referring to is the entirety of this row right here had the font weight of 700 and the pixel size of 14. But again, that doesn't mean that the fonts inside of it are 14 pixels with 700 font weight. So you always have to be careful with that and to make sure if you're looking for text in particular that you're on the text. But what you can see here in this row is that on the top here we got 20 pixels of padding. We see it over here in the CSS box model. Right there we got our 20 pixels of padding top and bottom, and you can see it here represented by green. And then we have the orangish color here, another 20 at the top. And if we go outside of this, we go to the entirety of the section. Again, here we see the size of the section is 2,065 wide by 768 tall. It's always width first, then height. And then we got 20 pixels top and 100 pixels down here for padding on the bottom, and there's no margin on this. Now, if we come into any kind of a text element right here, now we can hover over this, and you see right there on the screen it says that it's an H2 font and it's Avenir Bold. So we know what the text is. We know it's an H2, which means in ClickFunnels, that means it's a sub-headline element, would be an H2. And then when we click on it, again, it gives us the size of the actual box that it's inside of. Then it gives us our font size of 38 pixels, font weight of 500. It is set to display block, which in 2.0, everything is set to display block. There is no inline block like there had been in 1.0. And then we have a text color of all Fs, which means it is white. And we can come to the blue one down below this, click on that really quickly. And again, we see 65 on our font size, 500 on the font weight, and we see the text color right there. The only place you see what the font family is by hovering over it. It says Avenir Heavy, so Winter should probably put the actual font family showing up over here on the right hand side. That would be really nice. And just one more, let's look at this button down here. We got 20 pixels of padding all the way around. We see the font size, font weight, font color, all that stuff right there. On here, we also see the background color as well. So it gives you a lot of the information all right here inside of Barnum PT. We can also click up here, see all of the different colors that are on the page, and we can also see all the fonts that are on the page. So that's pretty nice, gives you a lot of information right in there. And then let me just kill that, and then we will come over here. So that was the inspector tool. We did the color picker, and then you can do image scraper as well, and it will say it's found 40 images here, and it will show you all 40 of those images. So that should be able to take care of most everything you want. Now, if you don't want to run Barnum, you'd rather run CSS Peeper. Let's just take a look at that really quick, and it works pretty much the same. We come out here. Let's come out to the level of the row if we can do that. So here we got our row, and the graphics aren't nearly as nice. You saw with the Barnum PT, you had difference in colors, and the color actually showed up here on the screen, which was kind of nice. But here it does give us our font family. So again, this was sans serif, but this was in the row. But if we come into this text element here, let's see if we hover over it, it doesn't really give us any information. But over here on the right, it does tell us it's Avenir Bold, 38 on the font size. Does it give us a font weight? It does not give us a font weight. Gives us a color, gives us a background. Let's see what it does here in the blue one. So again, nice representation of the color, but it doesn't give us much for the CSS box model up here. And let's just do the button as well. But you can also see up here all the classes for this button itself, all the classes for the text element as well. If you need to know the class of an element for some reason, if you're writing some code or something, you might need to know that. Or if you're writing some CSS, it's an easy way to be able to come in here and see what the classes are associated with it, so you can create your selector in your CSS. So let me see here. What else does this one do? Okay, we also have your colors. So here are all the colors on the page. Does this one also have a color picker? I don't see a color picker in here specifically, but like I said, those are all kind of wonky anyway. Here again are assets, so it shows us all of the images on the page. So I think between the two of these, between Barnum and between CSS Picker, or Peeper, I should say, CSS Peeper, this is called. I think Barnum is better in particularly because of the way it gives you really more of a graphic representation of what you're looking at here, and gives you the coloration on the screen like the Chrome Developer Tool would do, and I'm going to show you that in a second. The only thing, like I said, that I think is kind of lacking in, and I'll have to remember to mention this to Winter, is that you have here the font family does not come over here, but what's nice over here is you can just copy any of this here. So we got, we know it's 14 pixels, click copy, go into your code. If you're writing some CSS or something, drop the 14 pixels in there, whatever you need it for, you can just copy it here, but it is lacking the addition of the font family over here on the right. And then the very last tool we can look at is the Chrome Developer Tool. And so we're going to right click on our text right here. We're going to inspect. Now what you could also do is, I will kill this here, we can also do on a Mac, Shift Command C. On a PC, I'm guessing it's Shift Control C. I don't know. I haven't owned a PC in 10 years. And then you can also come up here and you go View and move me out of the way. Let's do this again. View, Developer, Inspect Elements, and then once you get in here, this little box up here in the corner will automatically turn blue, so you can come in here, and as you move around the screen, then it will give you the option to select the different items. But also you can see here is, as I hover over this, now we get a lot of the information already. So we see there that the color is hashtag FFFFFF. Font is 22 pixels, Avenir regular. We can see the size of the element, and we can see all the classes right there. And we come down here to this button. Same thing, we got even background color, padding, all of that is spelled out right there in the text. And as you're going to be able to tell real quickly, this is without a doubt my favorite tool, but Barnum would be second, CSS Peeper would be my third favorite tool. And what do we get here for an image? Not much beyond the size of it. But then once we come in here and we actually click on this element, now over here in the left hand side we see the actual HTML of the element itself. We see the headline wrapper, the outside of the headline, and we see the H2 headline inside of it right there. And then you can come down to the bottom and you can start seeing all kinds of stuff about it. So we got our font size is 65 pixels. Text is aligned to the left. On the color itself, we can just click on this. We can see all the color up here. You get your entire color palette, so you can start moving it around. Okay, what happens if I make the opacity a little different? Let me unclick over here. So we change the opacity of the text. Maybe we want to move it around. We can also come in here and we can change this. So this was in RGBA. We can change that to hexadecimal, which is normally what you need for ClickFunnels 2.0. 1.0, you could use the RGBA, but then you just click here to copy it. And so now we've just copied that to the clipboard. You take it into your code or into ClickFunnels itself. You drop that into the editor sidebar, like I've got open over here, and away you go. And then, like I said, what else can we do here? We can do HLS, and that's, was it hue, saturation, something, I forget what it is. But what's kind of cool about this here too, though, is you can come in here and you can just use your up and down arrows. So let's say you know how HSLA works and you go, okay, well, I want to just change this here. I just want to move that S up or down, and it's just kind of moving it there on an angle. And you can come in here, you can do the same thing. We got kind of, I don't know really how this works. I paid attention to it a little bit one day, and that was it. So you just kind of play around with that, and it will change stuff. And as I'm doing the hue, you can see here it's moving this way across this bar here for our rainbow colors. And so again, that changes the colors as well. So there's about a million other things that I could show you how to do inside of the dev tools. I'm in here every single day looking at stuff. This part up here at the top is the HTML. This down here is all of the CSS that has been applied to the element, and you're going to see a bunch of it here is crossed off because CSS refers to cascading style sheets, which there's a hierarchy or pecking order of these style sheets depending on when they load on the page and other factors. And so what you then have over here on the right hand side is what is the computed value for this actual element. So this over here on the right side is what is the actual value for what you are seeing on the screen. And again, here we have the CSS box model right here. And as I move around, let me see here, what do I got to do here to, let's find a section. We'll scroll up here a little bit. Here's a row. So here we got a row. So this is more like Barnum PT, where you see the varying colors as you hover over it. You see the colors on the screen, and then you also see it down here in the CSS box model. And let's go up here to the section. Again, you see the padding, a little bit of padding on the top, 100 pixels at the bottom. And just by hovering over it, you see that. And then again, it's represented down here. So I think that's it. So like I said, my preference is the dev tools. I got a bunch of training on that, but also then Barnum PT is number 2 and CSS Peeper is running third. So that's it.